I'm reaching for what I believe in, and I must never stop rising, rising, rising. Never stop rising.
You know, we have to be able to take feedback and interact with each other and just be humble to listen to other people.
Yeah.
And like, I think, all right, so we were talking before about creatives.
Yeah.
And we're talking about platform owners. And really what we need is a kingdom community.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I want to just challenge anyone that's in a position of leadership that might be looking at this, understand that you have the ability to create a network within the kingdom with other leaders and influential people that have platforms. You have the ability to create a network that will literally thrive. But the key thing you need to understand is that it's not about any one person being the superstar. We all kind of have to shine together, if that makes sense.
That's it.
So
That's it.
I'm bringing something to the table. Other people are bringing something to the table.
That's it.
And then here's the problem. I'll just say it right now.
Yeah.
The second I say that, people start recoiling and go, because people are like, someone's going to be in for it for their own gain and like needs. So there's going to be a wolf in the pack. Yeah. Does that mean that you don't do it anyway? We know how to deal, or we should. Well, I shouldn't say should like that, but it would be good if we knew how to deal with wolves already. Not knowing how to deal with a troublesome person does not mean you don't do work. Do you know what I mean? Troublesome people arise and go, and they get weeded out. And I think it's just like trying to avoid that, but there's the sheep and the flock and whatnot. And that's true. There are some genuine concerns. Some people will feel like there might be a great apostasy. But the truth of the matter is, again, if you're a leader of a flock, you know, you ought to train your people to the point where they can withstand like heresies and all this kind of stuff. And to be frank, the world is a mess, all right? So like there's enough rubbish going on that they're being exposed to. Trust me, you're not taking as big a risk as you think by connecting with your brother. You're actually you're actually creating more opportunities, and trust me, the multiplication that can happen from simply saying, you know what, ministry A, ministry B, like, you guys are really good at worship. We're really good at putting on events. We're going to work together and put on a worship event. That is going to basically blow away anything that either one of us could do separately. And that's what we need to see. And like, I think just like in the area of like those that rap or do, you know, sing or whatever.
Or paint,
like,
or create comic books.
Any of this stuff.
Lines. Check out the website below this video. Anyway,
thank you. Thank you. But like, it's like we can actually have that network, and I think like even if there was a website that was a collaboration of many churches coming together, that not only gave the creatives out there some airtime, had kind of like different sections for like, if you like the music, come here. If you want to know what events are coming on, come here. But also the collaborative events, because like a great example is Valentine's Day. Normally around Valentine's Day there's like a bajillion Christian, come and meet your wife, come and meet your husband.
Oh my days.
But like, you know, that's effectively what it's saying. And what if the kingdom was forming a community, so different ministers coming together and saying, you know what, rather than just do one thing ourselves, let's connect with other ministries and actually put on a good event. Because there's at least like one or two people that wants to do this in each church, right? So you connect with a few other people. Now you've got an events team that will literally blow away anything you could have done with your like small team in your church.
For real.
That creates an event that people remember. Your budget suddenly goes like this because some churches have more to spend as you do, but everyone brings what they can. That's biblical. You bring what you can. God blesses the whole thing, you know, and then
you build something,
you know, commands
a
blessing.
Honestly speaking, everything you're saying is on point. From every event, a successful event I've been to. I remember going to a, what was it, Marley Music a few years ago, this concert. I remember going to the building, I walked in. I was surprised at the size of it because you look from the outside. And the place was packed up. And what shocked me was this, right? Because sometimes, if you can easily fall into a box. You know how I mentioned ministry A, ministry B, and then there may be one or two things you don't fully agree on, but they're not deal breakers. Stop little things that really don't matter, but because they, and then you start putting down the other ministry, but we can touch on that one. But what I'm trying to say is, went into the building, Marley Music, right? There was a plethora of performers from different demographics. I didn't see that coming. There was Jahazil, before he went off the rails. There were, there was, who was it? Faith Child. There was SO. And this is what slaps me in the face. That's how I found out about SO. Live performance. I enjoyed it. As soon as he got off, I ran to him and said, yo, listen, where's your CD? And from then on, I've been listening to SO ever since. I came to see Marley Music. And he's American. But he had a bunch of UK artists and African artists. There were 4 corners on that stage as well, which I didn't expect because it was more R&B, rock, and rap type genre. So to see them up there as well, added a different demographic. And then to add to it, let's not forget, these are all different performers in their own rights, in their own fields, doing their own thing. And then some guy comes to hand me a card. I looked at it, it was a step forward. And I'm naming all these different artists and platforms because it's important we know about them. And so a step forward was involved. So these are all different ministries. There were content makers. There was platform owners. There was people who had stalls trying to do their own business on the side. And I realized, just from what he was saying, in a nutshell, how different hands coming together, whether big or small, just to play their part, made such a successful night. All these things count. All these things count. Yeah, and I just wanted to add into that, man. I just wanted to add into everything you were saying.
That's a really good example of like what I'm basically talking about.
Yeah.
And there's you touched on something which I think we just have to address it. Okay, this whole notion of we don't work with Ministry X. Okay, we are if we're Christians, we're family. At one point, we're all going to be dead, right? And we're going to be in heaven.
Exactly.
And we're going to have to look into Ministry X's face and basically say, it's all cool now. The question is, why didn't we deal with our junk when we were back on earth, so to speak? So, like, I feel like if you have to, with your own blood brother, make amends, and the fact is, it doesn't even matter if you're blood brother or not. Jesus Christ said you have to forgive 70 times, 7 times. So I think what we see is that people believe there are irreconcilable differences. In other words, stuff that they believe they cannot resolve, they cannot deal with, and they're saying because of that, we don't want to work with them. We don't want anything to do with them. And I just feel like, you know what? That is really petty. You can make amends with people. You can work with people. And in the real world, in your workplace, it doesn't matter if you don't like Bob, if Bob is a jerk. If you want to get paid, if you want to achieve, if you want to get your promotion or whatever it is you're doing there, you've got to work with Bob. Otherwise, you've got to leave the company. Whereas in the kingdom, for whatever reason, we seem to think that we won't be held to account because we're not doing the greater things we could be doing because we think we can't work with someone. It's just that God isn't here saying you must work with Bob. But he did command us to forgive. For real. So it does mean that we really should be having a conversation and be saying, you know what? I do have a real issue with you. But you know what? More than that, I really want to see the kingdom grow. What can we do? What can we realistically do about this? Like, those are hard conversations. I'm not shying away. I'm not saying, we sit around the table and it'll be done with. But the best of the best in the world, they have hard conversations. They work out things. And if they really can't work with another one, like another organization or person, then, it's just all out war. But the truth of the matter is, we see that, rivals work together. Like, some of you don't know that in your, like, maybe, actually, I don't want to use names, but just in case I get it wrong and they come to me. But like, all right, I'll use one name. Like, so Samsung make chips, and those chips are found in other, like, brands, like phones and stuff. You might not know this. Not that they make the whole phone, but some of their components are in other people's stuff. Now, if they were like, we don't really work with, say, Apple, for example, just example, then you know what? That becomes an issue because now Apple will need to go somewhere else to get the chips. Maybe Samsung make the best chips. Do you know what I mean? For their microchips for their phone. So, like, it's just about the same way in the kingdom. like we've got like, oh man, I shouldn't really name names, so I won't. But we've got churches that are really good at outreach, really good at like putting on a show. Let's just call it a show. Like not that it's just a show. It's obviously worship as well, but you know, for the world they will look at it as a show. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Now, but they might not be so strong on theology or really hitting home with like. Just saying, like some churches are like that.
Yeah,
like we won't name names.
Yeah, for real.
No, it would be interesting if I did. But my point is that if they partnered with the churches that were really strong theologically, got that right?
Yeah,
then that would be even more powerful. Okay, you know, because they would sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron, man.
Yeah.
So that's what we really need to see in the kingdom. And I think to make it work, we do need the leaders to help with that. But for those of you that feel like, you know what, these leaders are never going to talk, fair dues. Like, let's say we're just talking about you and me, you know, Bob and Jane and whatnot, and then Kunle and Shoka and like, you know, Quinn and whoever. Like, we can still come together even though we go to different churches and make something happen and be a demonstration of what could be if more of us did that. And like, I know some ministers are very protective of their flock. And I would say to that, you know, obviously respect your leaders. Of course, respect your leaders, but just understand if you are in a situation where your leader is actually being manipulative and controlling, that's not a good leader. And you might want to consider getting out of there, to be frank. And that's just my honest opinion, because leaders are not supposed to control you. They're supposed to guide you, nurture you, enrich you, and help you to be the best you can be, i.e. like Christ. So they should really be supporting that vision. And if you can see their own insecurities getting in the way of that, then that's something to be concerned about. So
that's a very big point. You touched on a big point. The leaders are a key point, and it's their leaders. They're put in a position of leadership. Oh man, you're right. I want to say names, but I don't know.
But no names.
I'm reaching for what I believe in, and I must never stop rising.